Hello the internet, and welcome back to Road Hazard. Today we're continuing our theme of vehicles we have really no business working on with this 1997 Nissan D21 XE. A 2.4 liter inline 4, 134 horsepower. And you feel every one of those 130 ponies. AC. 5-speed stick, and you'll notice a bunch of parts store bags over there. That's because we got stuff to do today, don't we? First of all, it hemorrhages oil in this whole vicinity. It just kind of goes at like BP levels. It's pretty bad. So we're going to change the valve cover gasket. And it's actually so oily up here, I can't tell if that's the only leak we have or not, because it kind of looks like it might be a pan as well. But we'll see. So I have an oil pan gasket too. We might not need that one, but I did buy one. This is plastic, and it's not in there. So I'd like it to be in there. So we'll just use some of the RTV we're going to use on the gaskets on that and go around the edges, and it'll be fine. We just need to clean off some of this old material that they used and try and get clean in there. The front brake rotors are warped horribly, but we're not going to do anything about that. So we'll just live with the when we brake until it becomes a problem. I got most of the goop stripped out of there. Should sit in there nice now. I'm just chipping away at the duct tape residue that's on the glass. And glass. I wanted to start with the window because it'll have time to dry and cure while we do everything up here. And then at the end, when we get ready to give this a bath, that should be cured and set. I'm going to dig through all the bags of goodies that are in the truck and pull out everything that I got and kind of get all that ready. So, and I can show you the floors and the rockers while we're in there, which are the cleanest of any mini truck on earth. I'm willing to put that hat in the ring. It's pretty solid. Started moving stuff out of the way to get ready to change that valve cover, and this is the first time I've seen this throttle body. It looks an awful lot like carburetor. It's not, it's TBI. But you can really see where this technology came from and is going to. You know, with the big throttle body on an intake, feeds runners into a motor. The only difference obviously is we've got fuel injectors up here instead of a fuel line running into the unit, but you can see how similar that body is to the old, what would probably be a Hitachi carburetor on this guy. So it's kind of funny. Also, Tommy got this all clean. You can barely even see it's there. Get that rearview mirror button glued on. Put that back in there. Put that in there. That on there. It's gonna be great. We got the window professionally glued in place. Permatex black, which, as we all know, is window sealant if you don't have window sealant. But it's in there. It's drying, so we'll have time to let that cure and stuff while we do everything else. But it's so much clearer. Pretty miraculous. So that's about as permanent as that installation is going to get. And we're going to move on to bigger and nastier things. Got the front and back plugs in, get the gasket ready. Tommy has cleaned up the valve cover. He, of course, thinks it's disgusting still, and will probably stay there for another hour if I let him. But I won't. And then Plop that back on here. I found 2 different spots, maybe 3, on the old gasket and plug combo that was probably leaking oil, so I'm feeling decently confident that this will fix the problem. I also tightened up the belt tensioner for the AC condenser while I was down there because it was squeaking a little bit. Yeah, looks pretty good. Just need to get that valve cover back for the gasket on there, pop it back on, seal it down, and then we'll take what's left of the degreaser and just through the whole engine bay, firewall, side of the block, back of the transmission, underneath everything, and go ham crazy with the pressure washer. And that way, if it continues to leak, we'll at least know A, that it's not coming from the valve cover, and if it is, you know, if it's an impurity in the metal or something that we can't really seal with a gasket, we'll fill it with RTV or whatever. But that'll at least narrow down where the leaks are coming from and see through all the scones. So this is what we ended up with the valve cover. Came out decent. He of course wanted to actually clean it, but I told him that would not be necessary. He fought, but we win. Yeah. Anyway, here it is. It's done. We go on the truck now. Our new Felpro gasket. Give it a plop. See, this is what I'm talking about. This scones that's just been building up back there forever. That's on. Everything's back together. I'm going to hose this bitch down with the greaser and then roll it outside and murder it with the pressure washer. And then hopefully we should be able to see no leaks, but if it does still leak, we'll at least know exactly where it's coming from and we can fix it. Yeah, a lot of oil came out from underneath, so that's pretty neat. Take that. What I might do, we'll check the fluids and stuff, but I might start the Nissan and let it idle for a little bit right here, and we'll see if we can see any drippage. We're letting all of our RTV cure and dry. Thought we'd vacuum out the interior. Or what's left of it anyway. It's actually
kind of amazing how nice the seat is.
I forbade him from doing a full Tommy clean on it because we'd be here for 3 hours. So I told him, floor, seat, plastic, done. We'll see if that actually happens or not. I'm guessing no. He's gonna lose his mind and do the whole thing. After many minutes, hours actually, I've convinced Tommy that he can stop on the inside. Of course now he's doing the outside, but it is markedly clean in here, and he's very proud of himself for making this garbage mobile look less garbagey. You know, he's the kind of person who takes the time to get underneath the seat and, you know, the little nooks and crannies and the door jams, because that's what people look at. But that's what you get when you get the autistic detailer. The attention to detail is pretty ridiculous. That is setting. We had to RTV the back of it a little bit to fill in some gaps, so that's curing. We won't be driving this today. Noticed the battery clamp had a crack in it all the way through, so we put a new one on. That's fixed. And then I went ahead and changed the oil too. So we got a dirty oil back there. But yeah, it is really clean in here. So thanks, Tommy. I told you to half-ass it, and you didn't. So appreciate it. We wrestled that new filter in. That was a nightmare. It's a little smaller than the one I took out, so it went in easier. But there is just so much pushing and pulling and upside down and sideways and wiggling you have to do to get that thing in there. It is a nightmare. The rest of what's down here looks pretty good. I don't see any other signs of heavy leakage or nothing beyond what could feasibly be attributed to the valve cover gasket. So I think we're good for that. We'll see once the RTV's done curing and I take her on a test lap. That window is in there, glued in from 15 feet. If you weren't looking for it, you almost can't even tell. Pretty slick. Sweat about 60 or 70 gallons an hour. So it's nice and humid in here. But it's together. And I don't think I'll need the oil pan gasket that I bought, so I'm going to try and return that. Good thing. We stuck the visors back in it. Didn't have the little clips, so I just used a small zip tie, a little hook. So now they move. Front right blinker socket was all corroded with water, so I cleaned that up and now that works. And that's about it. Everything else is exactly the same. So, just cleaner. Current situation. Oil leak on the valve cover has been solved. There is no more oil coming out from up here. Truck's hot. It's hot today. Anyway, you can really tell because we cleaned all this up and there's just nothing dripping down on it. You can really tell from underneath, but there is still a slight fluid drip under the truck. I will check next is the oil pressure sending unit. The fluid was kind of in a this siderly fashion of the old engine bay. So I crawled down here and I said, yeah, you know, that side's nice and dryish after we cleaned it up and changed the gasket. This side's still a little damp, a little wet, a little bit of oil. And I want you to ignore the oil pan gasket that is obviously put on incorrectly, but does not appear to be leaking profusely. So we're going to ignore it. And instead, that pressure sensor and the filter we just stuck in there, we'll pull the filter off, check to see if it's double gasketed. And then I'll also, while the filter's off and I got a little bit of room, we'll see if we can sneak a pair of pliers or a giant socket or something over that. I started with the oil pressure sensor here, which was hand tight in the block. And I don't even mean like snug hand tight, I mean like just kind of loosely put in there. So we're going to change that by tightening it. And we will also stick some tape on the end of that, like some Blue Monster thread tape or something. Okay, got that all buttoned back up, nice and tight. There was no second gasket on the filter. It was just the oil pressure sending unit, which is what we were hoping for. Nice, easy one. Taped up. It's actually tight now. Let's throw a new battery cable, a negative terminal, or a negative cable on this thing. You can see I've got it professionally fixed because there's a gnarly crack in it right there. It goes all the way through. It's kind of hard to tighten. One of my friends saw that and said, "No, that's not fixed." He got me a cable. He works at a parts store, so got that going for us. Just so you know, if it looks stupid but works, it ain't stupid. That was there for a while. This is real vice grip brand vice grips. These are old. Had those a long time. Okay, got that new cable in. It was just a little too long, so we kind of looped it around the long way instead of doing a coil. That'll be fine. I did go ahead and make another ground just because, you know, again, wasn't sure. So only had 14 gauge wire, so you just twist a couple of those together and you're good. So went ahead and did that. Got her all termed up, nice there and there, good and tight. We're on a test run right now. Just want to get some heat in the motor, get the oil flowing to all the places it's supposed to flow, and then when we stop, we'll see if we've got any drips, and then we'll go back to the house, park it over the cardboard one more time just to make sure nothing comes out slow. What we might do while we're out is go get a wash, like a fancy one that does the undercarriage too, just to blast everything that's left off of there. That might be a good idea. So we're heading down to the car wash now. I loaded up the dog because the last piece of our puzzle for today is going to be new calipers, or not, sorry, not calipers, rotors and pads. I got these rotors shipped from Rock Auto, the Chinesium-iest ones I could get, basically, i.e. the cheapest. Both rotors, 42 bucks, shipped. I got those for $11. So we are all into a front brake job on this truck for 50 bucks. my god. Okay. Now we need tires. Okay. We needed tires before, but now we don't have a choice.
How about that?
Just got back from the tire store. I got 2 tires mounted on the front of this truck. Okay. For $95. Mounted. Balanced. Yeah. Awesome. And the whole thing took less than an hour. I mean, leaving my house, driving to the shop, and coming back took less than an hour. So, I mean, that's it. We did it. We maintenanced and readied this truck to move along on its merry way and make some 16-year-old somewhere very happy when he rolls it into a ditch at 40 miles an hour at 2:30 in the morning. The only old rollover accident I've ever been in, my dad was driving, so take that, Dad. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you. Every like, every comment, every subscriber. While we're on the subject, why not go ahead and do one of those things? But that's all for this time, so thanks again for watching, and we'll see you guys in a fortnight.